was that the trial will begin soon. Now, if the Enforcement Directorate files its prosecution complaint today against K. Kavita, against Arvind Kejriwal, and against the Aam Aadmi Party, that in all likelihood would be the final prosecution complaint, the final charge sheet, as is understood in common parlance. That would then pave the way for the trial to begin. So the Enforcement Directorate can argue in the court that we are proceeding with what law requires of us. Our investigation is complete. Trial is beginning, and therefore now it is up to Arvind Kejriwal, Manish Sisodia, and others to convince the lower court of their guilt or of their innocence. So why just clear the pitch in terms of setting precedents by granting this interim bail? This will be the argument by the Enforcement Directorate. They are continuing to,
Okay, this is big breaking news coming in. I was just speaking to our correspondents, but we've just heard the Supreme Court has granted bail, interim bail, to the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. We've just received this big breaking news. There has been a lot of arguments around this, with the Enforcement Directorate putting up a very strong objection to the Supreme Court offering that interim bail to Arvind Kejriwal. He has been in ED custody for quite some time now, but now this is a big news and a big relief, in fact, coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party. He will not be allowed to discharge his duties as the Chief Minister. That was one of the conditions that was put forth by the Supreme Court, but we are just waiting for more details. He's been granted interim bail till the 1st of June. I'm also just getting this information coming in that he has now gotten interim bail till the 1st of June. So huge relief there. As I've been saying this, a big relief for the Aam Aadmi Party. Interim bail has been granted to the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. He will not be allowed to discharge his duties as the Chief Minister. This bail, in fact, has been given by the Supreme Court for him to campaign for his party and for the other party candidates as well. But a huge relief there for the Aam Aadmi Party. Now they are going to use this. They were going to say that they stand vindicated. A massive relief coming in there for the Aam Aadmi Party and for the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who has been granted bail till the 1st of June. And as we've been telling you, that all this while the Enforcement Directorate had even filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court, raising very strong objections, appealing to the Supreme Court not to grant him interim bail, saying that if this is done, it would set a very wrong precedent. They even said that never in the history of elections has any politician be granted interim bail for campaigning. Ananya joins us now. Arunima is with us. All right, I'm getting a lot of information right now. Arunima, a huge relief and a big news coming in from the Supreme Court with Arvind Kejriwal being granted interim bail to the 1st of June. What else are you hearing from the court?
See, one thing that you have to underline is that Arvind Kejriwal is being granted bail not just till polling happens in Delhi, which is on the 25th, but also beyond that. So what the Supreme Court is conceding is that the Aam Aadmi Party is a national party, and as its convener, Arvind Kejriwal might have to campaign in the last 3 phases, and therefore he is being given that opportunity. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, representing Arvind Kejriwal, tried to argue that 4th of June is when the results are coming, so allow him to be on bail till then. But what Justice Sanjeev Khanna said is that campaigning ends 48 hours before that, and we are explicitly granting him bail so that he can go out and campaign. What is also being argued here, ASG Raju is saying that you must underline that Arvind Kejriwal will not say anything about this case, to which Justice Khanna says, like in Sanjay Singh's matter, you are entitled to counter him with equally strong statements. 21 days here or there should not make a difference. He must not speak about the case and must surrender, is what Tushar Mehta says. And on 2nd, he will surrender, is the order coming in from Justice Khanna. All of this is being spoken about, as we are saying. Ananya is reporting it from inside court. And now that order, he's confirming now that bail has been granted till June 1st. On 2nd of June, Arvind Kejriwal will have to surrender. In the interim, he cannot discharge any duty as a chief minister. He cannot speak about this case. So during the course of the campaigning that happens, one will have to wait and see how the messaging by the Aam Aadmi Party is altered.
Yes.
Because their entire election campaign so far was on Arvind Kejriwal, his photo behind bars. Now that the court has granted him interim bail and put a bar on him from speaking on this particular case, how does that alter AAP's campaign is something that we have to wait and watch. But for now, AAP Karyakartas will be in a celebratory mode. Arvind
Absolutely.
Kejriwal is coming out of the jail for now till June 1st.
Oh, absolutely. The chief minister who was arrested by the enforcement directorate in the money laundering case finally being granted interim bail. Big news coming in there from the Supreme Court, which had been mulling for quite some time, despite very serious objections being raised by the enforcement directorate, who went ahead and filed an affidavit raising strong opposition to the Supreme Court granting bail. But the Supreme Court now granting interim bail to the chief minister, Arvind Kejriwal, up till the 1st of June. Ananya joins us for more on this. Ananya, over to you. This is a big news coming in, a big development in politics, and especially during the election season, something that the Aam Aadmi Party will use to its advantage. What's the latest? What are you hearing from the Supreme Court, and what exactly has led to the Supreme Court finally overlooking the enforcement directorate's objection and granting interim bail to Arvind Kejriwal?
Well, definitely, this is definitely a big order that has come to the fore, and a massive relief for the enforcement directorate, and a massive relief for the Delhi chief minister, and a big setback for the enforcement directorate. I'll take that question across to Ananya now. Ananya, what made the court decide that Arvind Kejriwal should be granted an interim relief in this entire matter? Because this is first of a kind that has happened, and what could be the repercussions of such an order on future cases?
Well, definitely, this is a big order coming in from, in fact, the Supreme Court bench headed by Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Dipankar Datta. As soon as they said that, they are granting interim bail to the Delhi chief minister in this particular case. And in fact, when the enforcement directorate raised a claim that, he should not make any kind of a statement, the court had a very strong observation to make that, whenever such statements are being made, the enforcement directorate too is countering them with stronger statements, is what in fact Justice Khanna said in a lighter vein. But at this particular point of time, the
मौखिक ऑर्डर कोर्ट ने प्रोनाउंस किया, उसमें कोर्ट ने कहा कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को 20 दिन के लिए इंटरिम बेल दी जा रही है 2 जून तक, और कोई कैंपेनिंग के ऊपर कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, वो क्या कह सकते हैं या क्या नहीं कह सकते हैं उस पर कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन इम्पोज नहीं की गई है। रिक्वेस्ट किया कि कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन डाली जाए, लेकिन कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं दी गई है, और 2 जून को उन्हें 2 जून तक की ये मोहलत दी गई है इंटरिम बेल की। हम इंग्लिश अंग्रेजी आज से लागू होगी। और अभी जितना ओरली बोला गया है, ओरली ऑर्डर में और कोई कंडीशन नहीं है, लेकिन हमें लिखित ऑर्डर देखना होगा कि और कोई कंडीशन है या नहीं है, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, इस ऑर्डर जब ये अपलोड हो जाएगा और अवेलेबल हो जाएगा, इसके बेसिस पे ट्रायल कोर्ट रिलीज का ऑर्डर पास करेगा। हम कोशिश करेंगे कि जल्द से जल्द आज ही हो जाए, वो हमारी कोशिश रहेगी कि अरविंद जी आज ही रिलीज हो जाए, वो जल्द से जल्द रिलीज हो जाए और आज ही रिलीज हो जाए। इंग्लिश में Today at 2 p.m, the bench in court 2 assembled for this matter, and it pronounced a very short oral order. We have not yet seen the written order, which will be uploaded in the course of the day, as we understand. And in that oral order, the court indicated that they are granting interim release / bail to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, and that order of interim release will be operable up till 2nd of June. That is during the election process, and there is no restriction on his campaigning as to what he can say, what he cannot say while he is out in these 20-22 days. Any further aspect, we'll have to see the order and then only comment.
So when do you think he'll be released?
We are anticipating that the order should be getting uploaded quickly. We'll obviously move for release today itself. We'll try for the release today itself, and we hope that it should happen today itself. Thank you.
Okay, let me go straight across to Anshul, Ananya, Arnima, all of them keeping a very close track of what exactly is happening. Just a brief synopsis of what the lawyer has said, that the bail has been granted to the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal till the 2nd of June. There are no restrictions whatsoever on his campaigning. He is free to make any kind of statements, and this is despite the fact that the Enforcement Directorate has been raising very strong objections to his release. But that has been overlooked. The Chief Minister of Arvind Kejriwal is a free man now for the time being, at least till the 2nd of June. He has been given interim bail for 20 days. Ananya, this is a big reprieve, a big relief for Arvind Kejriwal and also his lawyers. I mean, all of them making some very strong arguments, appealing for Arvind Kejriwal's bail, despite the fact that the Enforcement Directorate had filed an affidavit raising very strong opposition to his release.
Well, definitely, it's a very, very strong order that's coming from the Supreme Court. And but what is important to note, Avantika, and as Shadan Farasat, who's the lawyer for Arvind Kejriwal, was also pointing it out, that the order copy is still not out yet. The written order might have some observations, might have the reasoning as to why the Delhi Chief Minister has been granted bail, because this order would be a landmark order in the history of the Indian judiciary, because this order can later be used by other politicians too, in order to seek an interim bail for such a election purposes, for election campaigning. And the enforcement directorate's case with regards to an interim bail falling flat very clearly and categorically. Big questions are why and what are the reasons that the Supreme Court has granted him interim bail. In this case, he will be on bail until the June 1st. He will have to surrender before the Tihar jail authorities on the 2nd of June, is what the Supreme Court has at this point of particular time has gone on to say. And there is no bar on him saying anything or not doing anything.
Yes,
there is
yes.
no bar with regards to his campaigning. And very clearly now he can come out and say whatever he wants to, is what the orders of the Supreme Court are. But the interesting part would be from the judgment copy as to what are the reasons why the Supreme Court felt, because a
And
clear
also,
observation
I'm
that
very
was today
curious.
also made by the Supreme
In fact,
Court.
that the order is very important to study and to read, because one is also very curious as to on what grounds has the Supreme Court granted him interim bail, because never in the history has this kind of pardon been given to a politician to campaign for the elections. Udit Raj from the Congress Party has given his first reaction on this big news coming in. Let's just play that out.
थोड़ा है तो अरविंद केजरीवाल जी मेरे लोकसभा उत्तर पश्चिम में भी आएंगे और बीजेपी को और फासिस्ट फोर्सेस को शिकस्त देने के अग्रगणी पंक्ति में होंगे। धन्यवाद।
Arunima is also with us, and Anshul. Arunima, I want to come to you. It's the election season, and in politics, perception matters. In a way, the Aam Aadmi Party could perhaps use this as their victory card. They would say that today they stand vindicated with their leader out. Do you foresee this happening once he is released from jail?
Well, it will be very interesting to note how Aam Aadmi Party is messaging their campaigning. And why just Aam Aadmi Party? Because they have given joint candidates here in Delhi, specifically for Delhi. How will this really be utilized? So far, Sunita Kejriwal was holding road shows, telling people, playing that sympathy card, saying that, my husband has been jailed because he stood up for you. Her message to women of Delhi was that he wanted to give you free bus ride. He wanted to ensure that there's money in your pocket, and therefore he has been jailed. Now with Arvind Kejriwal himself narrating, and don't forget the insulin drama that happened. The allegation that Arvind Kejriwal was being deliberately denied insulin in Tihar jail because, quote unquote, the government wanted to eliminate him. Is he going to come up with similar stories about the time spent in jail? Is he going to utilize those stories to underline the sympathy factor further? Is he going to try and push that narrative that it was not corruption? Because Aam Aadmi Party's standard defense has been not a penny has been recovered from any of the leaders, neither Kejriwal nor Sisodia. So what is this case all about? So what the Supreme Court has done by not putting any restriction on what Kejriwal can say during the course of this interim bail is actually going to be interpreted by the Aam Aadmi Party as a huge victory. But public है, ये सब जानती है. We'll know on 4th of June कि public आखिर इन सब से क्या समझ रही है.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, all eyes are there on the 4th of June and what really comes out of this. But, I wanted to ask you, Anshul, this is an unprecedented move, isn't it? It's an exceptional case. Wouldn't this amount to creating a separate class for politicians? Because this is what the Enforcement Directorate had been saying. They'd been pleading the court and had been vehemently opposing to grant him bail, saying that one cannot make an exceptional case out of this. So I wonder, on what grounds has the Supreme Court granted Arvind Kejriwal interim bail to campaign for his party?
Well, yes, those grounds would be clear once the order is out. But if you look at the arguments that were being put forth from the side of the Aam Aadmi Party, they had made this point that he is the Chief Minister of Delhi, and he also is the national head or convener of the Aam Aadmi Party as well, and hence he should be allowed to go out and campaign for these elections, because central elections or these elections happen only once in 5 years, and that is the reason why an exception should be made in this matter. But one thing is also very important to note, that this interim bail that has been given has not been given on the merits of the case. The bail that has been granted to him has been granted only for him to go out and campaign. But interestingly, although the judges have said that there are no restrictions, in fact, the laws of Arvind Kejriwal are claiming that there are no restrictions that have been put for him. But yes, it remains to be seen once the order copy is out, if at all any sort of restrictions are put forth, because that is going to be very, very important in this entire matter. This is definitely a big shot in the arm for the Aam Aadmi Party. But yes, on the other hand, the Enforcement Directorate is also filing that charge sheet today itself. So the content of that charge sheet is going to be something that Arvind Kejriwal will have to answer in front of the people, because that is going to be very, very crucial, and that is something that the BJP will bank on to go ahead and attack the Aam Aadmi Party and the Delhi Chief Minister. So yes, in the next few minutes, we are expecting that procedure of filing that charge sheet will happen. So yes, it remains to be seen what will happen then, but definitely a big setback for the Enforcement Directorate, where they had clearly stated that this will set a very, very wrong precedent. Because remember, in the same matter, other politicians, much like Manish Sisodia, K. Kavita, and Hemant Soren is also arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. So will they be granted bail on similar lines? That is something that remains to be seen.
Oh, well, the entire drama unfolding when the Enforcement Directorate had arrested Arvind Kejriwal on the 21st of March in the now scrapped Delhi excise liquor scam. Rupashri joins us now. She is joining us outside the Aam Aadmi Party office. Rupashri, over to you. What is the mahal? What's the environment like? A huge relief for the Aam Aadmi Party leader, Arvind Kejriwal. It's temporary. He's only been given an interim bail till the 1st of June. We are still awaiting more details from the Supreme Court in that detailed order. But tell us, how's the mood in the Aam Aadmi Party camp?
Well, throughout the day, I've been here in the Aam Aadmi Party office, and in the morning when we had tried to find out or gauge the mood of the leaders, they were quite positive but very apprehensive as to whether Arvind Kejriwal will get any bail or not. And it is only now, after the Supreme Court verdict, that two ministers have already trickled into Aam Aadmi Party office. Aam Aadmi Party Minister Gopal Rai and Aam Aadmi Party Minister Atishi is here. Others are soon about to follow. The few Karyakartas that were there are already chanting slogans in favor of Arvind Kejriwal. So this is a huge boost for the Aam Aadmi Party's campaign in Delhi. Remember, it is the moment.
With me, Rupashri, Somnath Bharti from the Aam Aadmi Party is joining us on the broadcast. Sir, good afternoon, and thanks for speaking to us. A big news coming in right now. We don't have much details. We're still awaiting the Supreme Court's detailed order. But your first reactions, the leader of the Aam Aadmi Party finally being granted interim bail. He's being allowed to campaign without any restrictions whatsoever. Your first response?
I would like to thank Honorable Supreme Court for this decision of giving bail to Honorable Kejriwal ji, in order to ensure that there is some level playing field in this election. I mean, the history will remember the manner in which BJP used ED to oppose this bail of Honorable Kejriwal in order to stop him from participating in election campaign. It basically shows that ED was being used by BJP in order to stop Mr. Kejriwal, because they were able to see what is written on the wall. BJP is getting defeated massively in this election, and that is why they were using every mean possible to change the direction of this election 2024.
Oh, indeed, Mr. Bharti, this is undoubtedly a shot in the arm for your party, despite the fact that the Enforcement Directorate had been vehemently opposing to the release of Arvind Kejriwal. In fact, they had been pleading to the court not to make an exception. They said that preferential treatment cannot be given to politicians. In a sense, Mr. Somnath Bharti, this is also unprecedented. Perhaps the Supreme Court has seen something, thereby granting the Chief Minister interim bail to the 1st of June.
Yes, in fact, it is also unprecedented that after the election gets announced, you arrest a sitting chief minister of a state who has been there 3 times, and that too without any evidence, without any proof, and you send him behind bar after the election gets announced. And that was the question which Honorable Supreme Court had also asked. And then it is also unprecedented that overnight they were working. ED was working to get the charge sheet filed, etc., and declare him as the prime accused. While the prime accused was Sarath Chandra Reddy, who had given 60 crores to BJP. So everybody is seeing this mockery of democracy which Mr. Modi and the BJP had made in India. It's being watched internationally. The country is being ashamed, and it is shameful what they have done to the nation.
Mr. Bharti, I do know that it's an interim bail and he's only got temporary time out of the jail. But today, does your party feel vindicated?
No, our party, see, our belief in Supreme Court gets further strengthened. The Supreme Court gave the relief which the country was wanting to happen, in spite of severe opposition by BJP and BJP CP.
All right, Mr. Somnath Bharti, thank you so much for speaking to us. Arunima, my colleague, is also keeping a very close track of all these minute-to-minute details coming in from the court and also from other political parties. It's a big news. Arvind Kejriwal has been granted interim bail and no restrictions whatsoever. While he campaigns, he is free to speak as he wills. But Arunima, he is still restricted as the chief minister. He cannot, fully discharge his duties in the capacity of a chief minister. He will not be able to attend office as well. The Supreme Court themselves saying that it would have a cascading effect. I'm just so intrigued to understand as to on what grounds has the Supreme Court granted the chief minister interim bail, given the fact that there are so many other leaders, politicians who have been accused of various sorts of corruption charges, who are languishing in jails, and the same treatment hasn't really been meted out to them in the past as well.
See, the detailed order we'll have to wait for to know exactly how the Supreme Court has argued its decision to grant interim bail. But we can only gather the mind of the judges from what they've observed in court orally. What they said today, even when ED was opposing, and ED has raised this point that if you haven't granted bail ever to any other politician, either he or she being a chief minister or a party president, why are you creating a precedent this time around? But if you hear the observations from the Supreme Court, they have not gone down that path at all. They have not really observed anything about this aspect of ED's argument. They have instead focused on the criminality and of the case, where they have argued that after the probe by the Enforcement Directorate began, Kejriwal was not arrested for over a year and a half. Finally, that he has been arrested. Is there a flight risk? Is he going to damage the evidence in any way? If not, then how is 21 days of him being not in custody going to impact the entire case?
Right.
I think the court has just focused on that aspect of criminality and gone ahead and granted interim bail.
Rupashri, coming to you, the right to campaign for an election is neither a fundamental right nor a constitutional right, neither a legal right. In fact, in the history, one has never even seen a contesting candidate who is in custody being granted interim bail for campaigning. So this is a big order coming in from the Supreme Court, unprecedented in so many ways. I did cut you short because we had to go to Somnath Bharti, but if you could just continue from where you left, the mood in the Aam Aadmi Party, and what are the kind of voices you're getting in from the party about this big news coming in from the Apex Court.
Well, the first point that I would like to make is that definitely the mood in the Aam Aadmi Party has really shot up, and people are extremely buoyant. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party was completely down and out after the arrest of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and now that he will be out at least for campaigning, it means all the Aam Aadmi Party workers who were sitting quietly in their homes and wondering as to what was happening will all now flood the streets of Delhi. And when he actually comes out of jail, there will be a huge rally. And Arvind Kejriwal's first speech actually will actually set the tone of his campaign, not just for the 7 seats in Delhi, but also for the India Alliance. Now, just note what Aam Aadmi
Right, Rupashri, just kindly stay on with me if I just may interrupt you there. Pramod Tiwari from the Congress Party is also joining us. Mr. Tiwari, I was just speaking to my colleague Rupashri. She's saying that the mood in the Aam Aadmi Party is extremely upbeat. I spoke to Mr. Somnath Bharti. He says that, they believe in the Apex Court today has been strengthened. Today, one can see a level playing field in these elections. Your initial reply to Arvind Kejriwal being granted interim bail.
हेलो, मैं सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के
जी
इस निर्णय का
हृदय से स्वागत करता हूं कि चुनाव में जिस तरीके से झारखंड मुख्यमंत्री और दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री को कोशिश की गई थी कि वो चुनाव प्रचार न कर सकें, कम से कम बाकी बचे चुनाव के लिए दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री जी चुनाव प्रचार कर सकेंगे, उपलब्ध रहेंगे। ये संपूर्ण रूप से सिर्फ आम आदमी पार्टी इंडिया की नहीं, बल्कि जनता के स्वतंत्रता के अधिकार की जीत है, लोकतंत्र की जीत है। मैं अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के प्रति धन्यवाद अर्पित
प्रमोद
करते
जी,
हुए बधाई देता
आपको
हूं।
क्यों लगता है कि ये आज जो है भारत की लोकतंत्रता की जीत हुई है, उनके संविधान की जीत हुई है? बिकॉज इवन मिस्टर सोमनाथ भारती वो सेइंग कि इस जो जजमेंट से एक लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड हो गया है, एक तरफ का ही इलेक्शन हो रहा था, बट नाउ इट इज दैट इक्वालिटी हैज बीन मेंटेन्ड। जी
इसके पीछे एक बड़ी वजह
बताइए।
टाइमिंग जो बिफोर इलेक्शन, ये माना कई बार भेजे, पर सब अगर जोड़ के देखें तो इलेक्शन के 3 महीने के अंदर के थे। तो टाइमिंग में, यानी कि चुनाव के ठीक पहले आपको मालूम था वहां हो जाएगा और ये जाएगा जिस कोर्ट में, नॉर्मली वहां पे पहले जमानत नहीं होती। तो मकसद सिर्फ यही था ना कि किसी तरीके से वो सेकंड चुनाव में भाग डाल सके। ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सुनियोजित साजिश थी, इसलिए हम कहते हैं ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स भारतीय जनता पार्टी के फ्रंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की तरह काम करते हैं। अब देखिएगा, इसका असर सिर्फ चुनाव प्रचार पे नहीं पड़ेगा, चुनाव माहौल पे भी पड़ेगा। लोग आज के बाद कार्यकर्ता कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक जाग जाएगा और पूरी ताकत से भिड़ जाएगा, ताकत लगा देगा
जी।
मैं इसे बहुत बड़ी एक लोकतंत्र की जीत मानता हूँ।
Ji, Pramod Tiwari ji, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18. We also have a reaction coming in from Pawan Kheda. But before I go to the, Mr. Pawan Kheda, Majid Memon is joining us for the very latest. Mr. Memon, thank you so much for speaking to us on the broadcast. It's a big news coming in. I was speaking to my colleagues. The mood is upbeat in the Aam Aadmi Party camp despite a very strong opposition from the Enforcement Directorate. They had vehemently opposed the interim bail of Arvind Kejriwal, but the Supreme Court overlooking that and granting him. Your initial response to this big news?
Well, it is very difficult to justify or appreciate this strong opposition for bail. I don't know whether ED had some personal animosity with Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi. Why should the man be kept in custody when he is yet to be found guilty? Of course, PMLA does impose some restrictions as regards restoration of personal liberty to an arrested person. But naturally, Supreme Court has been very conscious in asking repeated questions to ED that he is a chief minister. Why do you want him to remain chief? Asking repeated questions to ED that he is a chief minister. Absolutely against the principles of democracy.
I want to understand from you, sir. Case, Arvind Kejriwal is not even contesting the election as well.
A political leader is also a citizen of India, and every citizen of India
contesting candidate been granted interim bail, happened before? Like, has a contesting past
Yes.
that? All right.
Yes, I will tell you. There has to be some beginning. Where is the question of having a kind of a precedent? Don't look at Kejriwal as a political leader. Look at him as an Indian citizen who is entitled to Article 21, the right to personal liberty. Therefore, if ED is asking that there has not been a precedent of any political leader being given interim bail, absolutely a silly argument.
Okay.
I would feel sorry if ED makes this kind of submission before the highest court of land. And
Well-
the court was absolutely right in asking that why was such vehement opposition? Can you satisfy the court that you go out of the way to oppose bail for Kejriwal? What could be the motive? And particularly when the election process is hot.
Right, Mr. Majid Menon, thank you so much for joining us and also throwing some more light. It was filed in an affidavit in the Supreme Court by the Enforcement Directorate that they were not in agreement with the Supreme Court granting interim bail. In fact, they had raised very strong objections to Arvind Kejriwal being released for jail for campaigning for his party. We have a lot of political reactions also coming in. Let's just play them out.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी शराब घोटाले में लिप्त हैं। आज महानयोग सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट के बाद क्लियर हो गया, उनको 1 तारीख के लिए केवल चुनाव के लिए कोर्ट ने अलाउ किया है और 1 तारीख के बाद उनको दोबारा जेल जाना होगा। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को 1 जून के बाद दोबारा जेल जाना होगा। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने स्पष्ट कर दिया, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को केवल और केवल 15 दिन के लिए चुनाव के लिए बाहर रह सकेंगे। शराब घोटाले में लिप्त अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, बेईमानी का, करप्शन का पैसा इकट्ठे करने वाले अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को 1 तारीख को दोबारा जेल जाना होगा। आज बड़ा स्पष्ट हो गया। अरविंद केजरीवाल और आम आदमी पार्टी कहती थी वो ईमानदार हैं, उन्होंने कोई करप्शन नहीं की, कोई बेईमानी नहीं की, तो फिर उनको 1 तारीख को जेल क्यों जाना होगा? आज दिल्ली और देश के लोग पूछ रहे हैं, अरविंद केजरीवाल जी, इतनी बड़ी करप्शन, इतने बड़े घोटाले कि कोर्ट भी आपको केवल 15 दिन के लिए छोड़ती है, जैसे हार्डकोर क्रिमिनल को छोड़ा जाता है, और वापस आपको 1 तारीख को जेल आना होगा। अगर आप ईमानदार थे, आपने करप्शन घोटाला नहीं किया, शराब के पैसे नहीं लिए, तो जेल क्यों जाना पड़ रहा है? आज दिल्ली के लोग आपसे सवाल पूछ रहे हैं।
The intervention by the Honorable Supreme Court in granting the bail to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, we also hope that the Prime Minister gets enough time after 4th of June, when he becomes the former Prime Minister of India, to introspect sitting in Sabarmati Ashram at the kind of politics he has indulged into. We hope that the former Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Mr. Hemant Soren, also gets due justice. Thank you.
Okay, we're getting in some more information related to the release of Arvind Kejriwal. According to sources, if the bail order reaches Tihar jail, where the Chief Minister has been lodged by 7 in the evening today, then in all likelihood, Arvind Kejriwal will be released from jail today itself. But if at all there is any kind of delay, then the release could also be delayed and just might happen tomorrow. But it's a big relief. The Supreme Court granting Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal interim bail till the 1st of June, which is also the final phase of voting for the 7th-stage 2024 Loksabha elections, has come as a huge shot in the arm for the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, the Aam Aadmi Party leader was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate on the 21st of March in the alleged Delhi excise case. So that's the latest that we're getting in right now. Let me go straight across now to CNN News 18's Anshul for more on this. Anshul, so what are the chances of the copy of the order reaching the jail premises today? What are you hearing from your sources?
So yes, there is a long procedure that needs to be followed before the Delhi Chief Minister could walk out from the Tihar jail cells. Remember, the order has just been pronounced. The order copy has still not been uploaded on the website or has not been given to the parties. Once that order is uploaded, then that order would be brought here to the Rouse Avenue Court, where the bail bonds and other legalities will be done. And once that is done, then the court authorities will send that document, that bail bond and release order, to the Tihar jail authorities through a post. And once this post reaches the Tihar jail authorities, then they will start the work or the procedure to make sure that the Delhi Chief Minister is released. But yes, there is a time limit in this entire matter as well, because what is the precedence and how the Tihar jail actually works. If at all the order copy, if at all the release order reaches the Tihar jail cells by 7 p.m., then the release will happen today itself. The Tihar jail authorities will make sure that the entire procedure is completed on time. But if at all there is a delay, because there is a long process that needs to be done, and if at all there is any delay in that, then the release order will not reach the Tihar jail authorities on time, which will eventually mean that the chief minister will have to spend another 12 to 16 hours inside the Tihar jail cells before he could be released. So yes, the are going to be very, very crucial, especially for the Aam Aadmi Party, where they will have to make sure that this entire process is completed without any delay. Now, the entire Aam Aadmi Party's legal team and in fact the party office is also waiting for that detailed order to be uploaded. Once that is done, then this entire process could start.
All right, Anshul, stay on with me. Just for the benefit of our viewers who have tuned in to the broadcast, today the Supreme Court has granted interim bail to the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, and that's the big relief coming in for the Aam Aadmi Party. But the interim bail is only till the 1st of June. There are no restrictions whatsoever on Mr. Arvind Kejriwal while he continues to campaign for his party. Supreme Court has asked the Delhi Chief Minister to surrender on the 2nd of June. So it's temporary relief, but relief nonetheless. Supreme Court has also told the Chief Minister not to speak about this matter publicly. So there are very subtle restrictions. He is not allowed to discharge his duties in the capacity of the Chief Minister. He cannot attend office as well, but he can campaign. He can be engaged in all the political activities of his party. In fact, the plea was rejected to grant relief till the counting day. That was also a request that was put in, but that has been scrapped by the Supreme Court. The Delhi Chief Minister, as my colleague Anshul was mentioning, could walk out of jail today only if the order, the copy of the Supreme Court's order reaches the jail premises and the jail authorities. Otherwise, he will be released tomorrow. So a big relief there for the Aam Aadmi Party chief, the convener of the party, Arvind Kejriwal. A lot of political reactions have also come in. We can play them out, and we will get you the very latest on this big breaking news. Before we play those political reactions, Anshul, I wanted to understand from you that what was that request that was made by Arvind Kejriwal's lawyers? Did they want more time till the counting day? And what did the Supreme Court say in response? I know we are still awaiting for a detailed order, but what is the news that you have? And also, if you could just elaborate, what really can Arvind Kejriwal do while he campaigns for his party?
So yes, while the arguments were going on, in fact, while the order was being dictated by the highest court of the country, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was standing in the court from the side of the Delhi Chief Minister, had said that the elections are ending on 4th June, where the counting will happen on 4th June. But Justice Sanjeev Khanna very clearly stated that the campaigning ends 48 hours before the elections, and the last phase of elections is anyhow on June 1st. So post that, on June 2nd, he will have to come and surrender himself. I'll just try and get more details on this from Ananya, who was actually a part of this entire hearing. Ananya, Abhishek Manu Singhvi wanted that the bail interim relief should be given till 4th of June, but judges did not go in that favor. What was the reason, and what are the things that the Delhi Chief Minister is allowed to do?
Well, definitely, this was a contention that was raised by Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who was appearing for Arvind Kejriwal. He said that he should be granted an interim bail till the 4th of June when the counting is due and the results have to come out. But very clearly and categorically, Justice Sanjeev Khanna said that the campaigning ends 48 hours right ahead of the result, and that's exactly why the June 1st is the last day when Arvind Kejriwal would be out. 2nd of June, he'll come back and he'll have to surrender before the Tihar jail. No kind of extension would be allowed for the Delhi Chief Minister. And a very important thing that had come out in the hearing the last time and today itself was that the Aam Aadmi Party's legal team had given an undertaking to the top court that they will not be even if the Chief Minister comes out on interim bail, he will not be filing any kind of he'll not be signing any kind of files, and we'll have to wait and watch for the bail conditions. The detailed order copy is out to come out very soon, and we'll get to know as to what are the reasons and the conditions that have been imposed on the Delhi Chief Minister while he is to campaign for the Aam Aadmi Party on this interim bail of 21 days, which will be ending on the 1st of June, and he'll have to surrender back on the 2nd of June.
So yes, all eyes on that order copy, because that is going to be very, very critical. Not only the Aam Aadmi Party is looking out for that order copy, but also the Tihar jail authorities might be waiting for that as well, because it is through that this entire process of release of Arvind Kejriwal will happen. So yes, it remains to be seen how quickly can that order copy be uploaded and given to the parties. But Once that happens, then we can expect this entire procedure to start in a very, very fast and phased manner.
Indeed. Stay on with me. Rupashri is also joining us, and she's tracking all the developments from the Aam Aadmi Party. Rupashri, what are you hearing from your sources? Now, we do know that Arvind Kejriwal's release from jail depends on when the jail authorities receive the copy of the order. But the scenes at Aam Aadmi Party would undoubtedly be that of relief and euphoria.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the legal team of the Aam Aadmi Party is trying very hard to secure that release tonight itself. Considering that he's the Chief Minister of Delhi and the entire campaign of the Aam Aadmi Party actually hinges on his shoulders. Now, what does it mean for the Aam Aadmi Party? Now, of course, it means it's a huge relief for the Aam Aadmi Party. And remember what Sanjay Singh's release had done to boost the party's morale. And what has Sanjay Singh has been doing ever since his release? He's been campaigning relentlessly in Delhi and across the country for the India Alliance, candidate. And that is exactly what Kejriwal is going to do. Expect Arvind Kejriwal to be extremely harsh when he speaks about the central government and about the alleged vendetta of the BJP, which actually, according to the Aam Aadmi Party, has proved that he has landed in jail. Now, earlier, remember, you were asking about why the Supreme Court has perhaps made an exception in this case. Now, why we have to wait for the final order? Remember, one of the considerations that may set Arvind Kejriwal's case different from others is that his arrest actually happened post the MCC, that is after the Model Code of Conduct was imposed. The date that the election date was announced, the dates were announced, that day actually Arvind Kejriwal had got 2 summons from the ED. And whatever the ED said today actually had been said on the earlier day also, to which the Supreme Court did not agree at all. And today actually when the prosecution actually compared Arvind Kejriwal's case to that of Amritpal, and the Justice Sanjeev Khanna was actually not willing to hear or even get into those arguments. And his order actually came in the first minute of the hearing today. So Aam Aadmi Party expect to address party workers in the party office, expect him to campaign relentlessly in Delhi and across the country, especially in Punjab. Expect him to make maximum use of every minute that he has in order to embellish the chances of his party and that of the India Alliance. And expect, and this definitely has come as a boost not just for the Aam Aadmi Party, but also the opposition India bloc of leaders.
No, and I wanted to ask you, Rupashri, I wanted to ask you on those lines that what is the impact of this news going to be on not just the party leaders, but the party cadre? This would definitely liven them up, leaving them invigorated and once again infusing the energy that perhaps had been taken out with the arrest of their leader.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Aam Aadmi Party cadre is going to be completely galvanized. And the second thing that it is going to do is that fear of people leaving the Aam Aadmi Party. Remember, Minister Rajkumar Anand, despite being a minister and being a Dalit face of the government and the party, has actually quit the Aam Aadmi Party, joined the BSP. Today itself, we saw another former MLA actually raising questions about the Aam Aadmi Party's campaign code and said that he was withdrawing from the campaign until the Aam Aadmi Party actually corrects that. So it is expected to stem that sort of hemorrhage.
Kindly stay on with me, Rupashri. We have Vikash Singh, who's the former ASG. Now, let me come to you, Mr. Singh. Everyone is waiting for a detailed copy of that order. I got a chance to speak to Mr. Majid Memon as well. Has it happened in the past that, a politician who is being in jail, charges, has been granted interim bail for campaigning? In this case, Arvind Kejriwal is not even contesting the elections. The Enforcement Directorate had vehemently opposed. Okay, we have lost Mr. Singh, but I have with me senior lawyer, Mr. Kapil Sibal, joining us. Mr. Kapil Sibal, good afternoon. Thanks so much for speaking to us on CNN News 18. The Enforcement Directorate had very forcefully raised objections to the interim bail, but this is big news coming in. Has it happened in the past, Mr. Sibal, that, a politician who has been accused of alleged corruption charges is granted bail for campaigning?
In fact, if you really take the case of Hardik Patel, he was convicted. Then the Supreme Court granted him stay. Then he filed his nomination paper. And then he got elected. And now he's in the BJP. Right? So a convicted person can fight an election, file his nomination. A person against whom there are allegations with no basis, with no proof, can't even get interim bail. I think it's a mockery of the law. In fact, he should have got full He should have got bail. Why interim bail?
Well, the Supreme Court has now decided to grant him interim bail, and that too till the 1st of June without any restrictions. Mr. Sabal, if you could enlighten me as well, I wanted to understand from you that, the Enforcement Directorate has time and again, as I said, vociferously opposed his bail. They've been saying that, this would set a very wrong precedent. It's wrong to set a politician who's been accused of corruption charges on interim bail. They, in fact, said that it is not even campaigning is not a constitutional, legal, or even a fundamental right. So in that scenario, on what grounds has the Supreme Court overlooked all of those reservations, objections that have been put forth and granted?
On the contrary, this is political vendetta, pure political vendetta. There is no case against Kejriwal. They've got an approver to make a statement after he's recorded 11 statements. On the 12th statement, the man has taken his name. That approver himself is an accused. An approver's evidence by itself is not enough for anything. This is pure vendetta. And quite frankly, the Enforcement Directorate has no legs to stand on. In fact, he should never have been arrested and he should have been granted bail straight away. What's the evidence against him? It's an accusation, no? Evidence will be, in fact, tested in court. And for a person who is convicted, you grant him bail, you make him enter the BJP, and the fellow who is the approver, ultimately, what did he do? And you know that, and I know that, his contributions. So let's not see. This is the whole point. This political party, that is the BJP, wants no opposition. It wants to target every leader in the opposition in this country. It wants to, take over governments through unsavory means. They don't. You see, that's why they say twin engine sarkar, double engine sarkar, because they want a government in the center and want the same government in the state.
But Mr. Sabal, I wanted to understand from you that the Delhi High Court on 9th of April did upheld the Aam Aadmi Party chief's arrest, saying that there was nothing wrong with it, there was no illegality, and that the probe agency...
You can arrest a man on suspicion. Do you have any idea about the law? You can arrest a man on suspicion. That means he should be convicted. He should not get bail.
Right.
The Code of Criminal Procedure says that the police person can arrest a man on suspicion. And if it's PMLA, he must arrest with material in his possession, which leads to the conclusion to the person who arrests that he is guilty of the offense. Right? What is the evidence today? And when the argument is made that campaigning is not a legal right, he's right. Certainly, campaign is not a legal right. But when under Article 324 of the Constitution, right, free and fair elections is a basic feature of the Constitution, you arrest every opposition leader in this country, how will you have a free and fair election? Forget whether it's a legal right or not. We are in the midst of a national election to the Loksabha, who the government will be at the center. And at that time, you arrest Mr. Hemant Soren, you arrest Kejriwal, you foist cases on every leader, and you threaten people through the ED. Is that fair? Does that make an election free? This is shocking.
All right, Mr. Kapil Sibal, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts on this big news of the Chief Minister of Delhi being granted interim bail. He is allowed to campaign. He is allowed to participate in all the political activities as far as the campaign is concerned, but he cannot attend office. He cannot discharge his duties in the capacity of the Chief Minister because that, in fact, the Supreme Court had said just might have a cascading effect. The opposition are extremely happy and satisfied. They, in fact, saying that this is an indication of a level playing field. They say that this has reinforced their belief in the Supreme Court, has strengthened their belief in the Supreme Court as well. So big news coming in right now. We are getting a lot of political reactions as well. And as my colleagues have been saying, this kind of news has also had a very positive impact on the cadre of the Aam Aadmi Party. They are feeling rejuvenated. They feel that there is now some purpose for them to campaign for the Aam Aadmi Party. But one will have to see as to what the BJP is saying, that this is there isn't any need for them to have a long-lasting happiness because this is temporary, and the interim bail will end on the 1st of June. All right, it's a wrap for me. There's a lot that's been happening, but the news and updates will continue. Lots of political reactions, our correspondents on the ground, and they'll be apprising you with the very latest. Joining me on the other side is my colleague, Prithvi.
जाति, पंथ और मजहब के आधार पर राजनीति नहीं की जानी चाहिए। राजनीति का आधार होना चाहिए इंसाफ और इंसानियत, जस्टिस एंड ह्यूमैनिटी।
Member Mufti was a Jainas when they begged me for 3 months. When they begged Umar Uvla to be a part of BJP government. So I think BJP has lost the plot. They don't have any principles at this point of time.
I challenge this government, show me one person where you have given 200 units. They're telling blatant lies. I've done a greatest mistake, Joy. But BJP is something, BJP's outlook is very big.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की ये जो है ना कोशिश रहती है कि आप कोई गलत बात बोल दो, दिन भर जो है उस पे चर्चा होता रहेगा.
Transporting itself under the Prime Minister's leadership and transforming itself into a Vishwa Guru. In that country, the agenda that the Congress has is caste politics.
A very good afternoon. Thanks for staying tuned to CNN News 18. The big focus story at this hour is the major relief coming in from the top court of the country. This with regards to the case against Arvind Kejriwal. In a major relief, the Supreme Court has given Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal interim bail till the 1st of June. That's right, till the 1st of June, he's going to be out of the jail. He's going to be on the streets of the national capital campaigning for the Aam Aadmi Party and the INDI bloc. The final phase of voting for the 7th stage 2024 Loksabha elections, remember, is going to go on for a while. The Apex Court has rejected Chief Minister's plea to grant bail till the counting day and has asked him to surrender on the 2nd of June. So he's found relief from the top court of the country only till the 1st of June. He's going to have to surrender on the 2nd. The top court has also said that there are no restrictions on Kejriwal from going ahead with poll campaigning. So he's free to campaign